From a family ranting about corruption in the bank after years of unpaid bills and ignored warnings.
We're just going to get out of it. We're going to move. And if you don't get his record straight.
Sir, I don't want you to curse on the record. And it isn't crooked. Your son didn't make the payments. They gave him notice. You've been living there free for 2 years, and somehow the banks are crooked.
To a tenant blaming unemployment for owing thousands yet still grabbing paychecks instead of paying rent.
The reason why that situation was the way that it was is because I had lost my job at the time, and I had been fighting the unemployment agency to get my unemployment benefits. And that was taking forever.
Let's see how Judge Middleton cuts through the excuses in these landlord-tenant disputes. Starting with Mr. Bank, a father who spent years dodging mortgage payments while crying foul over crooked banks. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Oh, you hear me good. Okay, sorry.
Okay. This is New Res LLC versus Jared Michael Benek on Electric Court in Sturgis. Attorney Irela Albu is here from the Trott and Trott Law Firm in Detroit on behalf of New Res LLC. This property was sold at a foreclosure action last August 22nd. And this probably has been in the works for several years. You have 180 days to vacate or they can bring this action. They've waited well beyond that. And at this point, it's the bank or this New Res intentions to take possession of this property and probably sell it. What's your position, Mr. Benek?
Okay, the only position I really have is we started out, my son, I'm the father, and we started out with a payment plan with them at 3-point-something% rate interest. And they never told us anything. After about 2 years, it started going up and he got behind. It was like a taxi kid is kicked out. We couldn't pay. There's no way he could pay and keep up. And on top of it, he lost his job, and he tried to fix all that too. So we went through.
So are you a co-signer for your son?
I'm just speaking for his behalf because and I'm really tired. I take care of most of the stuff in his house. He's like almost sleeping here in the chair. I can show you if you want to see him.
All right, just a minute. What's your name?
Michael Benek. I am his father. I've talked to them before.
Just a minute. Mr. Benek, do you have a law degree?
No, I do not. I don't have to have a degree to stand to freedom of speech.
Wake him up. So, I don't need to talk to him. I need to talk to him.
Well, he would like to have a statement. I guess I can't speak in his behalf.
No, you can't. You need to have a law license to represent somebody in a legal action.
Well, I guess I'll have to go to court then, won't we? All I'm doing is just trying to tell him we're not fighting over the house.
All right, we already
have a sign. We don't care.
Let me talk about where we are here. Okay. Your son had a variable rate mortgage and his rent went up. Or his payment went up and he wasn't able to make it.
They doubled it.
This is my turn to talk. This is my turn to talk. So he hadn't made the payment probably in several years. Probably it wasn't made at all in 2024 and probably part of 2023. The house was foreclosed on last August. So this didn't sneak up and bite you in the ankle.
No, we didn't. But we didn't get any. We could talk to him, sir.
You got a notice from the sheriff that your house had been foreclosed on. So they can't do it unless you get notice. They posted on there. So you've lived there at least since August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and soon to be May without making any payment. Yeah, so your son has the benefit of free housing. So I want to talk to him, or I'm going to default him. Sitting there sleeping in a chair. Wake up, dude. You're about to get kicked out of your house.
Now that's crazy. Imagine a house on fire, but the so-called owner prioritized sleeping and waiting for someone to rescue them.
The mortgage company wants your house back, and they have asked you to move Have you made any provision to move?
I've been having a hard time getting money to move.
Yes, well, you've lived there for free for 2 years. So theoretically, no one does. You should have a big pile of money when you didn't make your house payment to move somewhere else. But this proceeding is an unpleasant one. It is what property owners and landlords do to get their tenant out. The tenant would never move otherwise. You've known since last August that they want you to move. We're now almost in May. So I have to continue this matter. I'm going to continue it to May 2nd at 3 o'clock. Does that work for you, Ms. Albu?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, this is the end of a long process. They had a sheriff's sale last August. And you had 180 days to redeem the property.
Is Abby
March, which would have been March. And now you haven't redeemed it, so they're asking you to move out. They want to take possession of the premises. So if they get what they asked for on May 2nd, I would order that you be out of the house by May 12th, which is 17 days from now.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about this further. Now, I read the advice of rights, but you were sitting there in a chair. I don't know whether you were paying attention or not, but what I did say is you have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. So I sent you the information with legal aid's name and number on it. You could contact them. But I don't really know that you have a defense. You haven't made your payment. The bank foreclosed on it. 180 days passed and you didn't redeem it. And now they want the property back. And so it's a tough situation. We do this every Monday and Friday, and people are struggling. But have you made any effort to find a place to move to?
What do you ask?
Any effort to find a place.
No, we just started because we didn't get informed that they sold the house. I'm trying to tell you, there was no communication between these people. They came to our door and wanted to give us a favor to go to court here. It's the only time we ever spoke with them. But I mean, he doesn't know what to say. He's a young guy. I was helping him get the house. I use even my own money. I'm going to die soon, so I don't care. But all we're trying to do is just leave the house, give us 30 days or a little bit more, and we'll move. My daughter was buying the house.
We can talk about that next week. Sergeant Bruce Morse posted this on your door. It was published in the, I think, Three Rivers Commercial back in June of 2024 that the sheriff's sale would be in August. They posted it on your door. You didn't show up at the sheriff's sale. It was actually adjourned from July 11th to August 22nd. So they did post it on your door. And then you got notice with this when they served the notice to quit on you several months ago. But you do know you haven't made any payment on the house probably in 2 years.
You don't get to scream unfair after ignoring every warning and living rent-free for nearly 2 years.
For 30 days or something, and they may be willing to grant that. Ms. Albu can check with her client and see what consideration they can give. But I would suggest you start making plans to move. The date would be May 12th. If the plaintiff agrees, they could give you more time than that. So we will do this again next Friday at 3 o'clock.
What happened to Abby in the picture? Goodbye now. Whatever.
Do you want to ask for more? What did you ask? Another question?
No, we just thought that since my daughter took over the contract and he's buying it, that it would clear his record and wouldn't have to mess with this at all because she's buying it.
I don't know about that. So your
That's
daughter's
yeah,
buying the property
She
from Shell
physically
Point?
told me she already has agreement and stuff, and that she's buying it. I can get her out there next time you want, but
Well, they
and
haven't got possession of it yet.
she said, I
What's your
can just let
daughter's
you
name?
guys move, you gotta move, but she wants us out in a few months anyway, so we were trying to do that. That's what we started working on.
What's your daughter's name?
Abigail, Butts. I think she's still got her original last married name. She hasn't got rid of that yet.
And she is purchasing it from who?
And she says she's got the bank approved through some bank to buy it, and it was already approved that she was buying it. She's moving.
All right,
She
well,
said
let's
she
talk
took over
about
stuff
that.
here, and I took care of her kids for 3 months, and didn't get paid
Well,
a dime. I'm trying to help
They can't sell it until they take possession of it. They don't have the authority to sell it right now, so she may have a bank ready to loan her money to purchase it, but it isn't for sale yet.
So
All
we
right.
waited that long because we thought she was doing something through there. Oh my God.
Okay,
Okay, well, I
All
guess
right,
we're
we'll
lost.
talk
too,
about
so
this.
What we're gonna do is just try to move as soon as we can. I don't care
All
what's
right.
going on. This is all a bunch of crooked shit. We're just gonna get out of it. We're gonna move, and if you don't get his record
Sir?
straight, what?
Sir, I don't want you to
sorry.
curse on the record. And it isn't
Oh,
crooked. Your
did I
son didn't
curse?
make the payments.
Oh, I
They
said
gave him
shit.
notice.
Oh.
You've been living there free for 2 years and somehow the banks are
but
crooked.
we were trying to move. We're trying
We'll
to
be
move as
back
soon as
next
you know what
week
time is
at
like.
3 o'clock. You can rant at each other there in the apartment, and I'll see you next week.
All right, thank you,
There
Your
may
Honor.
be some crooked stuff going on, but I don't think it's the bank. All right, Ms. Albu, thank you. I did most of the talking and you just had to sit here and listen to me, but we'll see what we can do next week. And if you check with your client, they can give them some additional time to vacate.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thanks a lot.
And now we have Mr. Swick, a tenant who owes 7 years of rent back payments, suddenly crying hardship in court while his junk cars and boats cluttered the property. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Share this other matter next. This next case is Amber Harris versus Joshua Swick. Your client just is coming in, Ms. Albu, bring him in. This is a termination of tenancy case. It's a property out on Covey Road, which is out in the country, way out in the country. Ms. Harris owns the property. Mr. Swick has stuff there in the property or in the pole barn. I'm not sure what all the circumstance is. Ms. Harris, you wish to have him remove his property and vacate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of stuff are we talking about in the pole
Oh,
barn?
they just made. Oh, here we go.
The
Mr.
there-
Benek?
Yeah,
Mr. Benek? I'll be with you in
we're
a
having a
minute. All
camera
right.
issue. I can't see you there. Now I can see you again.
All right, can you see me?
Yeah, I couldn't see you there for a minute. It keeps comping on
How do
videos.
how do
know
I
what that's
look?
about. Huh?
How do I look?
You look like somebody important to me, so maybe you want to hear what I have to say.
I've never heard that one before, but I do have a black dress on, so that does help. All right, I'll be with you in a minute. We'll get to your case.
Okay.
And stuff out of the pole barn. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
in the pole barn there's tools, and in the yard there's cars that do not run. There's one car that doesn't have wheels on it. There's a couple boats. There's a camper.
Is the township after you because of those things?
Not right now, but they have been in the past.
Mr. Swick, what's your position?
I've been here since we bought the property. I've lived there and paid bills up until here at the beginning of the year. I'm trying to move my stuff out right now, but it's been a really rough path for me here the last couple months until, finding a job and then getting back on my feet and finding a place to take all my stuff. I'm moving an entire life. I never intended on going anywhere.
Well, I see these regularly, not once a week, but maybe twice a month, where people are together in a relationship, the relationship breaks up, one party owns the property, and they want the other one out. How long were you together?
Your Honor, we've been together for 7 years. In all honesty, I helped pay for the property, and I have every day. I paid $11,000 of the initial $14,400 down payment, and I have consistently paid bills. I paid all of the bills of the first year we were there.
Well, unless the property is deeded in your name, you're a tenant. And so that's, I guess, the sad tale of that. All right, well, the law requires that I adjourn this matter for 7 days. Then you would get 10 days from that day to move out. If you didn't get your property name on the property, I guess that's on you. I'm sorry, but I see this a lot. Also happens with family members. I'll continue this to May 2nd at 2:35. Now, you would have 12 days from May 2nd to remove your property, or you'd be subject to being evicted. So let's talk about that. Ms. Harris, this isn't easy. The sheriff would come out and do the eviction, move his stuff out, move the cars, move the campers, and you'd get a bill, and then you gotta sue him for the bill. So it's with these kinds of cases, it can be difficult. At any rate, Mr. Swick, you've got 17 days to try to figure out where to move this to. Don't tell me the address, but what city do you live in now?
I don't have a residence at this point in time.
Miss Harris, if I order that he move this property by May 12th or be subject to being evicted, you don't have to evict him on May 12th. It'd be easier to allow him to remove his own property. You'd have 56 days from the date of the order to serve it, then to ask for it, and then another 56 to serve it. So you actually have 112 days of flexibility in there. We'll talk about this further next week. So we will revisit this issue on May 2nd at 2:35. All right. Anybody have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Swick, I would advise that portable stuff like tools and those sorts of things, you make some effort to get out of there. But these other big issues could be a problem.
I have somewhere down the road to move all the big items, and I have been consistently taking trailers full of stuff. I just have a small trailer. It's just, I'm using what means that I have, and I have been consistently removing things.
All right, very good. Okay. I'll see you both next week at 2:35.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This time, it's the Brumfields, tenants who burned through appliances and fought over unpaid rent in court while demanding their deposit back after handing the landlord a trashed apartment. Let's see how the judge handles this.
We're back for our afternoon cases. This morning went pretty smoothly. We had an extra arraignment in there, and Tom is first again. Looks like we are shortly ready to start our afternoon docket. 7 cases, not too much. It was hot. I went for a walk at lunch, and it's very warm out. The air conditioner is working in here, so that's a good sign. My Kramer box isn't working. Turn it on right now. I have somebody named Judy R. in the waiting room. I don't know what the status of the state investigation regarding other judges in chat. It takes them so long to do everything. I don't know the answer to that, whether there's going to be anything from it or not. So we'll turn ours off and get started. I got 2 people in the waiting room. Let's see who we got. I've got Samsung phone. Who am I speaking with?
Amber Harris.
All right. Which case are you here on?
Joshua Swick, landlord tenant at 130.
Okay. You're a little early, but there's no harm in that. You change your name.
Sorry.
You're fine. It's helpful when people are here early because I can advise them of their rights early. I've got Judy R's phone. Who's that?
I'm the manager of Walnut Meadows.
All right. Our 920 case is Samuel Brumfield and Dorinda Brumfield. We've yet to see them. Our 125 case is Shy Winters. No one here on that one yet. And then we have what time is that one? 125. And Amber Harris is the plaintiff in our 130 case. Well, Lance, we're not doing too well so far. Meg Bauer advised us this morning that she would not be here this afternoon. Well, it is 1:20. We'll go ahead and get started on the first one, see if anybody shows up. First one is Walnut Meadows Apartments versus Samuel Brumfield and Dorinda Brumfield. I see someone's coming in. I know them. I hear Mr. Brown. Hello,
Good afternoon, young man.
you guys are looking good.
Thank you. How are you?
She looks better than you do.
Always, that's what I'm married on.
Miss Brumfield, would you come up and have a seat over here, please?
How you doing?
I've been doing well, thank you.
Good to see you.
All right, I know the parties in the next case, as I often do, and let's just call it. This is Walnut Meadows Apartments versus Samuel Brumfield Jr. and Dorinda Brumfield. Lance Thornton is here on behalf of the complex. Also present is their manager, Judy. And Dorinda Brumfield is here. Miss Brumfield, is Samuel Brumfield still living there also?
Oh, Your Honor, he's in the hospital. He's been in the hospital for about almost 2 months.
All right.
Coming May.
Yes.
Which is part of why there's financial problems here?
There's no financial problem, sir. I paid my rent.
All right, well, let's talk about this.
Okay, let's start.
This is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. And as such, you have certain rights as a tenant in the case. You have the right to hire a lawyer. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'd give you information about how to contact legal aid. Legal aid is normally here, but they're not available this afternoon. You have the right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. And that's never been an issue, not even one time, but the Supreme Court requires I tell you that. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you want a jury trial, you must tell the court today or within 5 days, file the written jury demand using the appropriate court form, pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the court waives it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, local coordinated agency, that's Neighborhood Inc., Housing Assessment and Resource Agency, or a federal help for homeless veterans program. And we sent that information to you with the original packet. You do not need a judgment against you to get help from those places. A copy of the summons and complaint is sufficient, and you have received that. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation. If both parties are interested in doing that, the court can help set it up. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord. It means the case would get dismissed. That would be done probably with an order for conditional dismissal, and it would be prepared by the attorney or the court would assist. Mr. Thornton prepares for the court, in his case, is something called the judgment information fee, which is very helpful. In this case, the allegation is that you owe April's rent and a late fee, March's rent and a late fee, and February's rent and a late fee for a total of $2,310. Plus three was that significant water bills. And they allege that you owe 65, 65, 65, and then a great big one, NES water. I'm not sure what that is, for a total of $1,578 of water bills, plus court costs for a total of $4,113.90. Is that still accurate, Mr. Thornton?
It is, Your Honor.
And that form is so valuable. Wish I could. John Bush uses it, Christine Yancey, a few others, but it makes my life easier. Ms. Brumfield, what's your response?
Sir, on my paper, it says I owe for, it looked like February and March. They just put April on there. I did not pay April because I gave them my 30-day notice. I have all my rent receipts for January, February, March, December, all of that.
All right. Do you have those with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's take a look. Normally I'd have a bailiff in here, but I don't know where
No problem. My Christmas weeks.
All right. She is, I mean, they are what they are, but this one shows 7/25 dated April 9th. She's listed as March payment. 7/25 dated 2/25 and 7/25 dated 1/25 or 1/7/25. Of course, the receipts would show where it went. So she contends that you paid January and February and March, but not April.
No, I didn't.
All right, Mr. Thornton, what do you know about that? Or Judy?
I can explain.
Okay,
According to our lease, if you owe other things, they get paid first and the rent gets paid last. Samuel, or the lady who was living with him, caught the stove on fire and it was destroyed, and we had to supply a new one. They destroyed it. We charged them for it. They caught a baked potato on fire in the microwave. We had to take the old one out and put a new one in. She was informed those would be charged to her. So when they paid the rent, those charges were covered first, according to what the lease states.
well, I certainly can't tell that from the pleadings. So her rent money was applied to other issues.
It was applied to
Yeah.
the new stove. It was applied to the microwave. It was she never paid late fees.
Yes, I did. Not the rent. I was late.
Well, we're gonna have to get a recalculation here.
Okay.
All right, now, Laura, could you bring me some pens? And now, in addition, it appears that you plan to move out.
Yeah, I gave my 30-day notice. Your Honor, I notified this lady. She gonna tell me the stove is $725 and the microwave is $725. When that stove caught fire, we cleaned up that apartment, and for 2 weeks, my son did not have a stove in there. And I asked them several times, I begged them, ma'am, can I get a stove? Well, no, you're not gonna get a stove until you pay us $500. Ma'am, I ain't got
Oh,
no
no,
$500.
we're not gonna lie.
No, I'm talking now.
Just a minute, yes,
So
Yes.
I said, well, I'll get a stove from Rent-A-Center. No, you can't get no stove from Rent-A-Center. It is after my husband talked to corporate, they got us a stove. I said, well, just
all
take
right,
it.
stop. Only one
Okay,
person.
go ahead.
Some of this, I don't disbelieve what people are saying. We're just gonna need to sort it out. Now, when do you plan to move?
Oh, I'm moving because he's been in the hospital. I told him, I gave him my 30-day notice, which is, I got in my phone. I
Okay,
gave her
so
30-day notice on the
when do
1st.
you plan to move out?
I'm moving out. We'll be out on the 1st of May, before the 1st of May. I've been cleaning, I clean apartments, so not in this case. I doubt if they'll give me my deposit back. So, I'm just.
Yeah, that will be the issue regarding the
Thank you.
deposit. Yeah, the way the pleadings look, it just appears that you haven't paid your rent.
Yeah, that's how.
I
So,
haven't paid April's rent. That's the
all right.
only one I didn't pay, sir.
Okay,
But on this paper,
Well,
she's taking me from.
here, Laura, I don't know if you can hear me. I need some pens. I keep taking them back to my desk and away from the bench. Ones I've got are out of ink. Well, by law, I have to continue this matter 7 days, and I would continue it until next Friday, May 2nd. But at this point, you contend that you'll be out. Mr. Brown, I got another pen, just not the kind I like.
Sir, I won't be in town May 1st. I mean,
May
May
2nd.
2nd. I'll be in Atlanta. I'm sorry.
All right, you don't have to apologize.
Okay.
Then I would give you 10 days from May 2nd to be out. But if you just agree to be out, we could do a conditional order, and then there may be a hearing regarding money damages. Once you move, you need to turn in your keys.
Okay.
Is Laura gone? I need these kind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where she went, but all right, this will get me through. All right. When you vacate, the law requires that you turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. Do you know where you're moving to?
Yes, sir.
What, don't tell me the address, but what town?
I stay in Three Rivers.
All right. Mr. Thorne, do you have a thought on this?
I don't mind preparing a conditional order for the court if they want to agree to move by the May 1st date.
I would go to May 2nd. That's 7 days from today. So
Okay.
do you agree you'll be vacated by next Friday, May 2nd?
I'll be out by, yes, sir, I'll be out by then.
And we'll be clean. Move out the kitchen.
All right. I've told this story before. My son had a good friend who had an apartment at Western Michigan University, off-campus housing, and his mother came up and cleaned the apartment. And they took pictures of everything and what it looked like when they left. After they left, some football players came in and absolutely trashed the place. Broke the porch, broke the toilets, broke the sinks,
No
tore the
way.
showers off the wall. Well, they had photographed the way it looked when they left. So that's a good suggestion.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Thorne, would you prepare a conditional order of dismissal? We can use these numbers. Now, they're gonna say you owe this much money, but you don't, because you're moving out. You have to pay this much money if you wish to
Which
stay.
my money, because only one I miss is.
All right, let me, you don't need to worry about paying this money because you don't want to stay there.
Right.
Right,
Now, if they file a legal action for money damages, we will then put people under oath and take testimony. How much was the stove? How much was the microwave? How was this figure calculated?
Yes. And
Just a minute, Mr. Brown, you can't just,
Sorry.
was there a security deposit?
Yes.
And so here you agree to vacate by next Friday. You can go to Atlanta. You don't need to be here. And then if they're gonna sue you for money damages, it will be at a separate hearing. You'll get notice. You'll get a claim of how much they claim you owe. You'll have a chance to dispute it, tell your side of the story under oath. This simply has to do with possession only. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Thornton will do a conditional order.
I will email that over to you, Your Honor, within a few minutes after we get done here today.
All right, I'll send that to you as soon as I get it, Ms. Brumfield. Do you have any questions?
There was one other thing, sir. I was concerned about the water bill and.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know what
Right, I
any is.
didn't- I had no
Well, we
idea.
aren't going to make a ruling on it, but
Okay,
just as
thank
a, what is it?
So what will they say?
No, Mr. Brown.
Walnut Meadows used to do, have our water bill, put down to the residents through a third party called National Exemption Service. When, I was never thrilled with that company. They were late feeing everybody to death. So when our contract ended, anything that was left owing on the water bills were added to the residents' leases. It is in the lease that they can and will be billed for the water bill. They never made any payments to NES for the water bill, so that's why theirs was so high.
Well, we'll have a chance to argue about that too. So you're not gonna pay it. Don't pay it. Just vacate, turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of.
Finally, the last case is on Mr. Winters, a tenant who blamed unemployment after skipping thousands in rent payments, now asking for more time to pay.
Very good ribs. Are you Shy Winters?
Yes, I am.
You smile. Have you had some of Mr. Brown's ribs?
Yeah.
He brought me some one day here at the courthouse. I'm not supposed to accept food, but all right. This next case is Walnut Meadows versus Shy Winters. Mr. Winters, you weren't here to adhere to the advice of rights. Let's find out who Motorola GPay is. I can see your ceiling. What's your name, sir?
Joshua Swick.
All right, your landlord, Miss Harris, is here. Let me give you a name. All right, Mr. Winters, yours is a demand for non-payment of rent, similar to the last case. Mr. Swick, yours is a termination of tenancy. They want you to move and get your stuff off the property. In each case, you are a tenant and a landlord tenant. Oh, darn it. Could you stop Miss Brumfield? I've still got her rent receipts. All right, thanks. Bye. You are defendants in a landlord tenant proceeding, and as such, you have certain rights. You have the right to hire an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you may be available to get assistance from legal aid. We don't have court-appointed counsel in civil matters, at least not at this point. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If you do wish to have a jury trial, you have to advise the court here today at this first hearing or file the demand in writing within 5 days and pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the court waives it for your inability to pay it. You have the right to have the case heard in the county where it is, which is St. Joe County. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from your residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a local coordinated entry agency, a housing assessment and resource agency, or if you're a veteran, you may be eligible for veterans benefits. You do not need a judgment against you to receive help from those places.
You get up there just quick enough to see them driving across the street.
All right. I'll hold on to them. We sent that information to you with the summons. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through local community dispute resolution. It's also known as mediation. If both parties are interested, we can set that up. In the last case, we reached an agreement where the tenant agreed to move by a certain date. So we reached what's called a conditional order of dismissal. Mr. Thornton is going to prepare that. And if we reach such an agreement, we can do that once again. Mr. Winters, in your case, once again, Mr. Thornton prepared one of these. And we got April, March, and February's rent and part of January's rent. He contends that's $2,980. There's also three $45 late fees in there. There's water bill for April, March, February, and then one of these big NES bills that we just learned about, $445. So $640 in water bills and court costs of $225.64 for a total of $3,846.01 due through April. Of course, next week we'll be into May. Mr. Thorne, is there any change to that?
No, Your Honor, I think that's accurate.
What happened to you? Well, they'll have to be blue, just pens.
Oh, just
so
pens. Okay.
that'll do. All right, thank you.
Great.
Mr. Winters, what's your position?
So the reason why that situation was the way that it was is because I had lost my job at the time, and I had been fighting the unemployment agency to get my unemployment benefits, and that was taking forever. I also had to go to court for that too. So, but I just ended up recently getting a job, and I actually just made a little bit of a payment like on it that I could do right now, and I'm also getting help finally from neighborhoods to help me solve this situation.
All right, good. Well, let's break that down. Are you expecting a lump sum from unemployment?
No, I just got a job, and I would have to go back to court for that.
Right.
And
And you're getting help from Neighborhoods Inc.
Yeah.
You should know that there'll be an additional month by the time we come back, which will be an additional $800. Now, last week on both Sturgis and Three Rivers Radio, I heard a story about Michigan Works that got a St. Joseph County grant to assist people who are in financial difficulty, including medical, housing, and other expenses. So there was a phone number attached to the story. I called the phone number. Nobody answered. I got an answering machine. I left a message and nobody called back. But there may be another program through Michigan Works that could provide housing assistance to working people like you. You have to have a job to be eligible for it. So we'll see. So you talked to Miss Wardell at Neighborhoods Inc.?
Yes.
Very good. The law requires that I adjourn this matter at least 7 days, which takes us to next Friday, which is the 2nd of May. So let's take a look at that. See if Mr. Thorne's set to be here anyway.
Not yet, Your Honor.
How are you for 2/20?
That will work.
That would be on May 2nd. Now, Mr. Winters, when you talk to Ms. Wardell, you got these figures, but just assume there's going to be an 800 plus another 45 for May when we meet next week. And you can go to the WLCAM website and find that article about Michigan Works. Maybe
I
you'll have
gave
better
him
luck
the
getting a hold
number.
of it.
It's
Oh,
a
you
true
gave him the
story.
number?
I dealt with the guy. He has the name and number.
Oh, so Michigan Works has it also?
Yeah, it's only in St. Joseph County.
Yeah, that was fine. There was a guy's name attached to it, but
Yeah.
he didn't call me back. All right, good.
Yep, they've
So-
helped other residents of mine.
Oh, they have helped some others?
Yep.
Yeah, I was, St. Joe County only. It's to help working people get behind in their rent, which is a need we have. So I was interested to know how much money is there and how do you apply for it? But the guy never called me back. I'm going to try again later this afternoon.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
Mr.
super
Wood.
easy.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So you're on the pipeline for that too, Mr. Winters. Where's your new job?
I work at Taco Bell now, but I actually did reach out to him and I talked to him last week and he said that he'll reach back out when he can because he has to talk to someone else to see what they can do. So I'm just waiting on a call back from him.
All right, well, let me tell you something. The only thing that'll cure this is paying the entire amount. A partial payment won't do it. So you're going to owe $3,846 plus $845. So $4,961. Let's say Neighborhood Inc. gives you $3,000 and Michigan Works gives you $500. That still makes you about $1,200 short. So you have to pay the entire amount to fix this. Now we're going to reset this for next Friday at 2 o'clock, 2:20. And then you'll get 10 days from that day. That would be May 12th to pay the rent or be subject to being evicted. So we've got 17 days to work with here. And I encourage you to share these figures with those people. And I'll see you next Friday. You can come by Zoom once again at 2:20.
May 12th at
May 2nd. The move out date would be May 12th.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.